This show has been brought to you by SacredApparel.net. The homie Twink and the crew over there are always coming up with the latest fashions. The tees, the hoodies, and the hats. Right now, they got a store-wide sale going on. Everything 20% off. This would be a great time to pick up a hoodie. Everything 40% off. Regular price $40, now they $25 a hoodie. And the dope thing that I like about Sacred Apparel, they got tees for the big homies. So go check them out, sacredapparel.net, a clothing store for the ladies and gentlemen that choose to live sacred. You dig?
You're listening to the TheShowLab Producer Podcast, where we talk about nothing but producer stuff. You dig?
Are you working on a project and you're looking for your next banger? Well, check out the team over at SoundHbeats.com. Looking for a variety of production? Well, the homie Ray and the crew over there can take care of all of your musical needs. They got exclusives, leases, and they got a clearance sale over there. Are you an artist on a budget? Well, now they are offering bulk discount prices on their lease beats. So what you waiting on? Head on over to SoundHbeats.com and pick up your banger today. Christian music, all heart, SoundHbeats.com.
Yo, this is the amazing SB, and you're listening to the TheShowLab Producer Podcast with my homie Marv. Make sure you tuned in to theamazingsb.com.
Are you looking for those heavy trap bangers? Then you definitely need to holler at Rock House Music, specialized and known for those bending 808s. You may have heard his recent work on K-Drama's The 8 album. So if that's the sound you're going for, holler at my man Anthony over at Rock House Music. You can check out his beats on SoundCloud at www.soundcloud.com/IamRockhouse. Again, that's www.soundcloud.com/IamRockhouse. Rock House Music, home of the bending 808s. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This should be played at high volume.
You ain't got the answers.
Yo, what's good? Hey, what's poppin'? It's your boy Swift.
It's Young Joshua.
This is
Surface.
This your man K-Drama.
This is the amazing SB, and you're listening to the TheShowLab Producer Podcast.
And you're listening to the TheShowLab Producer Podcast.
And you're listening to the TheShowLab Producer Podcast.
You are now listening to the TheShowLab Producer Podcast.
And you're listening to the TheShowLab Producer Podcast
With my man Marv.
with my homie Marv.
With my homie Marv.
With my man Marv from OB.
I'm a Marv from Mo Beats, baby, yeah. You're listening to the TheShowLab Producer Podcast, where we talk about nothing but producer stuff. You dig?
Yo. What up? This your boy Marv from Mo Beats. You're listening to the TheShowLab Producer Podcast, where we talk about nothing but producer stuff. You dig? How y'all doing today, man? I am good on this Tuesday afternoon. Been a real busy Tuesday afternoon, man. Just a lot going on. Trying to catch up with stuff on the website and working on a synopsis, which I have no clue of how that works. Shout out to my wife and my homeboy Omar Luis for helping a brother out on that. But yeah, man, it's been a busy afternoon so far, man. But anyway, man, we got a good show today. We don't have an interview today. Everybody say, "Oh, time just wouldn't allow it, man." I was supposed to have my wife on the show, but I promise y'all, that interview is coming. It is coming. My wife is a school teacher, so they got a new building that our Christian school is moving into. Shouts out to Smoke for Jesus Christian School. We finally got that mug up and erected, ready to go. They moving in and stuff, so it's just a lot going on, man. And summertime and getting ready for vacation and all that stuff. So I promise you guys that interview is coming. But anyway, we got a good show. We are talking about the top 5 producers my top 5, your top 5, top 5 producers. I'm gonna have my guy, my chief editor, Omar Luis. He's gonna be on the show, and we're gonna talk about his top 5 producers, man. And we're just gonna, just dialogue something different. I know you guys are used to us having a guest on the show, which we will be back on the next week, but we're just going to turn the tables a little bit. But something that don't change is the scripture. And the scripture is coming from John, 1 John chapter 5, verses 15. Verses 15. Well, I'm going to start at verse 14. And it reads, "And this is the confidence that we have in him, that if we ask anything according to his will, he heareth us." Verse 15. "And if we know that he hear us, whatsoever we ask, we know that we will have the petitions that we desire of him." That's the King James Version. Let me read it in the Message Bible. The Message Bible makes it just a little clearer. And that scripture reads in the Message Bible, verse 14, it says, "And how bold and free we then become in his presence, freely acting according to his will, sure that he's listening. And if we are confident that he's listening, we know that what we've asked for is as good as ours." Something that my pastor was talking about in our men's Bible study, just talking about how as men, one of the brothers asked a question about the balance between taking care of yourself and trusting God, trusting that God will provide all your needs. And that is something that every man fights and wrestles with, being able to trust, taking care of your needs, man. We by nature, just independent, we're going to take care of ourselves. And, rightfully so, man, we have to take care of ourselves. But as a believer and as somebody that's supposed to, that calls themselves a Christian, and I want to say should always be focusing on what your mission and what your goal and what your destiny and whatever God has set out for you to do. We have to make sure that we are balanced and, that trust factor. The scripture says that that we should have the boldness and confidence that God would hear us. Well, that means we have to trust God. We have to put ourselves in situations where we're out on a limb, confidence in him that he's going to allow us not to fall. One thing I know about God the Father, man, he liked those cliff experience. He liked you to be on the cliff to see if you're going to be able to trust that he's hearing your prayers. He's going to provide for you. He's going to provide your needs. He ain't going to let your family go without all those things in order to accomplish his will. Now, how can I relate that to, as a producer? I can use myself for example, man. A lot of times I find myself, juggling and worrying about that I am trusting God that he will provide my needs, that he will allow whatever he have for me as a musician, as a producer, to come to pass. I find myself many of times moving before God, moving without God, and then you come to this brick wall. Now, in the midst of all that, in the midst of that trusting and crying out, and being confident in that he's hearing your prayers, you're gonna need some patience. If it was an easy process, I would tell you it was an easy process, but it's not. It's not an easy process because you have this flesh man that is always ready to turn up at any given moment. You know what I'm saying? He ain't trusting in nothing but himself. You know what I'm saying? And that's the balance. That's the war that, you know, that you have that you have in yourself. And I can't speak for nobody else, but I'm speaking for me. You know, it's a challenge. It's a challenge to be able to trust God, have that confidence in him. Even after 17 years of being a believer, man, you know, it's still a challenge, you know, to be able to trust God. But thank God for his word, man. He said that if we can freely have and be free and have the boldness to believe that if we ask something according to his will, that he will hear us. Now, if you're asking for something that you know you don't need, or just something out the box, or you just, you know, you tripping, don't expect to get that. That ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? Not if you call yourself a believer, man. You know what I'm saying? Come on. You're going to have some understanding. But being confident in God that he will hear your prayers, that he will hear you cry when you're praying according to his will. And that's a whole nother thought in itself, his will. You know what I'm saying? But just for the sake of time, that is the scripture for today. 1 John chapter 5, I said, verse 14 through 15. The whole 1 John is good. You check that mug out, man. Come on, man. You know, I pray for you, you pray for me, that we be able to have the confidence and the faith in God, that according to what we're asking, the desires that we're asking, according to his will, that he will hear, man. You know, my prayer is always trying to help somebody, you know, trying to help people, you know what I'm saying? So, I believe that's a part of God's will, me helping other producers and stuff. But so that's the scripture for the day. 1 John chapter 5, verses 14 through 15. Check it out. Dive into it yourself. And be blessed. You're listening to the ShowLab Producer Podcast. This show has been brought to you by SacredApparel.net. SacredApparel.net. Twink, and the team over there putting out that good. Go check them out, SacredApparel.net. In a few minutes, we're going to have some producer news, and we're going to get into this top 5. Hey, and if you're listening live, man, feel free to hit us up on the chat, man. We here. We in this thing. You might want to share what's your top 5. You know what I'm saying? The chat room is open. Feel free to dive in it. Let's dialogue today. You're listening to the ShowLab Producer Podcast, where we talk about nothing but producer stuff. You dig?
We are the plug for producers. The ShowLab Producer Podcast. You dig?
You are listening to the ShowLab Producer Podcast, the podcast that's strictly for producers.
Yep. You're listening to the ShowLab Producer Podcast. I am your boy, Mar for More Beats. In producer news, shout out to the homies J Rhodes. Well, let me read what's going on. Jay Rhodes, producer, Dallas native producer. Jay Rhodes debut new web series in August. The primary focus of the show, which is set to premiere on August 1st, will be to give viewers, us, the people that's watching it, an inside look into what music producers face away from the show. Basically, my homeboy Jay Rose, shout out to Jay Rose, man, it's a good brother. The D's Beats Ain't Free movement. He's the founder and the dude that's heading that up, man, that whole These Beats Ain't Free movement. I am a part of that movement. I do believe that these beats ain't free. But man, he's putting together a web series that's coming out August the 1st. And, just giving an inside look on, the life of the producer. It's a documentary about him as a producer and stuff. And, if you go over to morphomobeats.com, you see that I got an article up on there. I think I forgot to post the link where I got it from, but I'll go back and add a link where you can go read the full story. But it's basically, man, giving, the artists and, those cats that are aspiring to be producers an inside look on somebody's life that's in the business, you know what I'm saying? That's in the business, you know what I'm saying? And, still constantly having to grind, you know what I'm saying? The perception that people have, you know what I'm saying, is like, producers are balling out the ground when they get their first major placement, but it's not. It doesn't stop there. You know what I'm saying? The grind is a continual grind. You know what I'm saying? So he's doing a documentary, hoping that it would get picked up. You know what I'm saying? According, if I can remember correctly, the article, he's hoping that it get picked up by some major networks and stuff. Sound like it's gonna be real dope. I'm gonna be looking forward and waiting to see that mug. So shouts out to Jay Rose, man, doing big things up in the D-Town. I was telling the homeboy the other day that, man, Dallas is, when it comes to producers, Dallas is the market is big. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got J Rose, you got S1, you got his son Vaughn, you got Sick With It, you got Cheese Beats. Man, I know I'm missing some names, but man, you got it's buku producers in Dallas. That is definitely the new South when it comes to producers. So again, man, that web series comes out on August 1st. For more information, you can go check out Jay's website, vintageroads.com to get some more information on the web series. And that's producer news, man. In about a few minutes, I'm going to have my guy, Omar Luis, and we're going to get into this top 5. My top 5 list is dope. I don't know if his top 5 list would be able to outdo mine, but we gonna see. And again, man, if you're listening to us live, man, feel free, hit us up on the chat board, man. We would love to dialogue back and forth with you guys. You're listening to the ShowLab Producer Podcast, where we talk about nothing but producer stuff. You dig? Apparel.net. The homie Twink and the crew over there are always coming up with the latest fashions, the tees, the hoodies, and the hats. Right now, they got a store-wide sale going on. Everything 20% off. This would be a great time to pick up a hoodie. Everything 40% off. Regular price $40, now they $25 a hoodie. And the dope thing that I like about Sacred Apparel, they got tees for the big homies. So go check them out, sacredapparel.net, a clothing store for the ladies and gentlemen that choose to live sacred. You dig?
We are the plug for producers. The TheShowLab Producer Podcast.
Are you looking for those heavy trap bangers? Then you definitely need to holler at Rock House Music, specialized and known for those bending 808s. You may have heard his recent work on K-Drama's The 8 album. So if that's the sound you're going for, holler at my man Anthony over at Rock House Music. You can check out his beats on SoundCloud at www.soundcloud.com/IamRockhouse. Again, that's www.soundcloud.com/IamRockhouse. Rock House Music, home of the bending 808s. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Are you working on a project and you're looking for your next banger? Well, check out the team over at SoundHbeats.com. Looking for a variety of production? Well, the homie Ray and the crew over there can take care of all of your musical needs. They got exclusives, leases, and they got a clearance sale over there. Are you an artist on a budget? Well, now they are offering bulk discount prices on their lease beats. So what you waiting on? Head on over to SoundHbeats.com and pick up your banger today. Christian music, all heart. SoundHbeats.com.
You're listening to the TheShowLab Producer Podcast, where we talk about nothing but producer stuff. You dig?
Yes, sir. You're listening to the TheShowLab Producer Podcast. I am your boy, Marfa Mo Beats. And we about to get into this top 5, and I have my right-hand man, Omar Luis, on the show. What up, dog?
Hey, what's going on, Marv? How's it going, everybody? We the North. We in the building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. So, today, man, we talking about the top 5, man. Top 5 producers. And I think what we'll do, we'll go producer for producer. You know what I'm saying? You'll say your first producer and say why and all that, and then I'll follow up behind. So I'm gonna let you go first. Your first top 5 producer, and it doesn't have to be in the order, but you know what I'm saying. And then what we'll do, once we do our first top 5, and then we'll do a 6. We'll do our 6 man, just on the strength.
Okay.
So it's on you.
Right. Well, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Glad to be here. Hope y'all having a great day. Before I get started, I want to say a few things. I also want to add to the producer news that my compadre, Cephas, or I don't know if it's Cephas or Cephas.
Cephas.
He dropped a... I'm sorry?
It's Cephas.
Yeah, he dropped a beat tape called Live from the Couch. If you go to wewellgo.com and look him up, you can go grab that, and it's free, so no charge. You can go ahead and grab that and get some nice tunes for your iPod, your phone, or what have you. And another thing I want to say is that I was kind of ill prepared to talk about top 5 producers. Like, there's a few names that can come off the dome and just say. So,
man, everybody should have their top 5 off top. Any given Sunday, I can give you my top 5. With unprepared, whatever. Prepared, not prepared. If in my sleep, I can give you my top 5, son. Straight up.
I got you, but I feel like when it comes to like top 5 in anything, like sports, music, whatever, like it can get a little controversial. People can get a little emotional. So just to kind of put it out there, like, I'm ill prepared, and this is my top 5. Okay. Everybody has their own top 5. So
yeah, everybody got their own top.
Yeah. So one name, or actually, I have a duo. But this duo right here, I personally believe that they contributed to CHH in a great way. Mm-hmm. And I gotta, first off, big ups to JR or Courtney Pebbles, or Cortland Orlando now, and Nab. I gotta go with them. I personally believe if Cross Movement at the time when they were still like relevant, if those two didn't have those joints on those albums that came out around like 2004 and on, mm-hmm. You wouldn't have a lot of great tunes on a lot of albums that came out of that label, right? So I'm gonna go with that, or them first.
Okay.
JR and Nab.
JR and Nab. Okay, that's your duo. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. What you got?
You know, now especially okay. If we start with Christian hip hop first, then I got to go with Tony Stone. Now, the reason I go with
I didn't know we were doing only Christian hip hop.
No, we're not.
I didn't know
we're not. But he's in my top 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
now you just got a little more interesting. I didn't know that.
Right. No, we doing them, you know, across the board. Tony is just in my top 5, and I got to say that Tony Stone, producer Tony Stone, had him on the show a couple episodes ago. The reason I would say that he's in my top 5, because when I was telling him in the podcast that he brought this sound, this newness sound to Christian hip hop that I think that was never heard before. Now, keep in mind, you know what I'm saying, JR and Nab, they did their thing, and you know they brought a freshness, but Tony brought that boom bap. He brought the boom bap, and he had this the sound was just so relevant. You know what I'm saying? When I first heard Tony, but then, man, see, you done started something, because you know JR and Nab, they also brought like this fresh sound, you know, to Christian hip hop too. I want to say if it's such thing, and I know I'm breaking the rules, but if it was a trio, I would say Tony, Nab, and JR, because they brought that relevant sound to Christian hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
I'd have to agree. Because T-Stone, the crazy thing about T-Stone is that, like, at the same time, it's not only the sampling in the boom bap, but the original in the boom bap. Like,
yes.
I think if we go to the 13 Letters record, the one with Shy Lynn spitting on that's a dope boom bap beat, but it's no samples.
Right.
So he brought the instrumentation in such a way where it's just like, you couldn't get that anywhere else, man. That was T-Stone all day.
And you know what's so crazy? You know, to say Tony was a boom bap producer, you're right, bro. He did not do a lot of sampling, but JR did a lot of sampling. JR sampled a lot. He sampled a lot, which was totally surprising to me, because there was a lot of joints that I had no clue that Jay did, that when we was in conversation, he'd be like, yeah, I did that. Yeah, I did that. I'm like, wow, I would have never thought that you would have sampled. You know, JR just doesn't come off as the sample-based producer. Versus as when you see Tony and you hear Tony's style, you would think Tony do a lot of sampling, but he doesn't. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was very unique. All three of them was unique, and even Nab was. Nab he's a dope producer. Shout out to my homeboy Nab, man. That's my guy for sure. Nab was always the technical guy. You know what I'm saying? He was the engineer plus beat maker. So what him and JR did together, man, they definitely had a dynamic team. And then at the same time, Tony was doing his thing. So I would have to agree that JR and Nab, and then Tony, and if we was to say a trio, they would definitely be the trio in Christian hip hop.
Yep.
Yeah. So
you put them three together, you just get classic, man.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, so I went with Tony. Who you're next up?
All right, since you said it's like anyone like mainstream or Christian hip hop, next dude, this is another duo, and I most definitely have to put them in there in top 5. Organized Noise.
Oh yeah, yes, definitely. Did you see the Organized Noise documentary?
Unfortunately, no, man. I don't know what it is about YouTube or Netflix or certain services like that, man.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, a lot of stuff is just being blocked off in Canada.
Oh wow.
I'm like, no, I want to watch it so bad.
Oh wow,
I only caught snippets of
that
it
sucks.
on YouTube.
That sucks for Canada, because boy, that is a classic documentary, dog. Like I literally watched that documentary about 3-4 times. You know what I'm saying? And got something and picked up something different each time I checked it out, bro. And I did not know Organized Noise produced that joint for In Vogue. What's it gonna be for the Set It Off movie? I knew they did Chasing Waterfalls, but I did not know about the In Vogue joint. And they were just, when you think about Organized, well, you go ahead. You tell me why, bro. Because I wish, because now I want to go back and change my list. But go ahead.
All right. The thing about Organized Noise, and the thing is, I kind of came to a lot of music a little later.
Yeah.
So as these guys were, I guess you could say, not in their height of their career, but when they were like prevalent and putting out crazy work.
Yeah.
I'd say there was so many artists, like if you didn't have the production of Organized Noise,
yeah,
like they again, you wouldn't have them classic records. And at the same time, I would say in the 90s, you would really hear a difference in sound. Like, okay, this is East Coast, this is South, this is West. You know what I'm saying? And when they dropped, like, with the first Outkast record, it's like, what in the world is this?
Yeah.
So they kind of forged and pioneered that Southern sound, right? So I believe not only because of that and what they did and what they continue to do, it's just man, the amount of incredible music that they did, it was crazy. And nobody can replicate or emulate that in such a way.
Right. And bro, they put so many dudes on, bro. You know what I'm saying? See, I don't want to spoil the documentary for you, but I'm not sure if you'll ever be able to see it since you're up in Canada. But man, they were responsible for a lot of, artists, man, in their career. Of course, Outkast, you know what I'm saying? But then you had like Goody Mob, so you had the Dungeon Family, CeeLo, and then one day you might be able to see the documentary. I don't even want to spoil it for you. So okay. So you going with Organized Noise, right?
Yeah, for number 2. Yep.
For number 2. All right, my number 2 is I got to go with Just. I got to go with the Blaze.
Just Blaze.
I got to go with Just Blaze. Just,
you can't say nothing about Just, man. He's just that good.
He's just that good, bro. Like some of the stuff that I hear, and this is the thing. Like, Just is a boom. I think Just is a boom bap producer to the core. But Just will mess around and flip it up on you and do some crazy, he'll do some joints that you wouldn't even expect. Like when he was working with T.I., like I would have never thought that he would be able to flip the script like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. One of my all-time favorite songs that Just produced was the Pump It Up by Joe Buttons.
Oh, that when that song was popping back in the day, I had that on repeat.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
Switching the radio dial to get that song again. Like, okay.
Yeah. Yep, man. I'm talking about you talking about I'm like,
I think that's 2004? Something like that?
Oh no, it's much later than that, bro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
it's much later than that, man. I want to say right before. I almost say 99. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I wasn't even a Christian just as yet when that song came out. You know what I'm saying? And when I heard that, you know what I'm saying? When I heard that, John, I was like, oof. But then Just, he did, went on to do a lot of stuff with Jay-Z and stuff, and he just has this format to, how he chop his samples up. I mean, chop his samples. One thing I like about Just, and something that I see that I do a lot, he use a lot of organ. He uses a lot of dirty.
A clear example of that is that one Drake song. I think it's called Lord Knows or something like that. With Rick Ross.
Yeah,
that beat is stupid.
Yeah, man, and he flipped and that was a gospel sample that he flipped, man. And I had been searching all over Google when that song came out, but then come to find out he actually had a choir to come in and sing that.
What?
He had a choir to come in and sing that, and I think what he did, he broke it down. He talked about it somewhere. It was a video I seen on YouTube where he talked about how it was stock choir, stock VST. It was a VST, and it was a stock sound in that VST that he used, that he actually played out in the very beginning, and then he brought in a choir to sing that joint. Just
wow,
crazy, son. Crazy, for real. So I got to go with Just for my number 2.
Okay. So it's on me now, number 3.
Yep.
All right. Yo, Marv. Just out of curiosity, man, are we gonna have time to say like honorable mentions and other people?
Yeah.
I feel like it's so disrespectful.
Yeah,
to, like mention.
Right. Yeah, we'll do honorable mentions too.
Okay. All right. Jay Dilla.
Yeah. See, Jay, I don't know what I was tripping off of, but I had Jay as I don't know why I had him as my honorable mention, but I should have had him in my top 5. And I thought about Jay. I thought about Jay Dilla, like a few minutes ago, literally. But Jay just should have been in my top 5. Go ahead. Why you say he in your top 5?
Oh man.
And I know whoever's listening, they probably like, Marv, you is smoking crack. He wasn't in your top 5. I'm sorry.
But that's the thing, when it comes to these kind of discussions, bro, there's so many people that can get like, overlooked, not intentionally, but it's because there's so much talent.
Yeah.
So Jay Dilla, man, I'll just leave it at this. Who was that guy? All right. So Pete Rock inspired Jay Dilla.
Right.
He like kind of took the throne, or not the throne, but the crown as Beat King after Pete Rock.
Right.
And Pete Rock is like, what's that word? Like following him and kind of like taking notes from him. So he kind of surpasses influences. Who can you really say actually does that nowadays?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then when you just talk about what he did, like his range is so like, I don't even know. It's indescribable, like the amount of music he did, and like it's like he can take it to hip hop and then to rock.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's a producer's producer. Like that's just, man. It's just, there's so much you can say about Jay Dilla. But
right.
As my number 3, I got Jay Dizzle Dilla.
Yeah, and see, like Jay, he made beat tapes. He made beat tapes enjoyable to listen to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He made beat tapes. He made beat tapes an album. You know what I'm saying? Literally. I was listening to this BBC documentary that they was doing on the man, and Questlove was just talking about how he chopped up this Isley Brothers sample. He chopped it to pieces, but then when he put it all back together, bro, it was like a whole nother different song, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And man, and like to this day, like, you still got dudes doing tutorials, on that Jay Dilla technique. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about just a couple of weeks ago, you know what I'm saying? A friend of mine, you know what I'm saying, did a tutorial on the Jay Dilla technique, because this dude he's still relevant as, musically as a producer. You know what I'm saying? And dudes still be trying to, try to imitate that style. So, all right, so you went with Jay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so since you went with Jay, I got to go with Ninth.
Ninth Wonder?
I got to go with Ninth Wonder. I got to go with Ninth.
I can't whistle that good right now, but dang, Ninth Wonder, man.
I got to go with Ninth. The reason
Go ahead.
Uh-huh,
go ahead.
No, go ahead. What you say?
No, I was just gonna say that you caught that new beat tape he put out, the Zion. Man, that joint's crazy. That's all I was gonna say.
Oh no, I didn't know he put a new one out. Oh man, I guess.
Yeah, I got you. I'll send it to you. But man, Ninth. Man.
And this is what I like about Ninth. There's like no special. There's no special technique to Ninth. The dude is just soulful. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, Ninth used. He said it in interviews before that he's known for using the same kick, the same snare, and the same bass, but every joint be like totally different, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And the way he mimicked the sample that he chops with his drums and stuff, bro. It's just like, and I just be like, man, it ain't nothing special about this dude. This dude is just so doggone soulful, bro. The dude must bleed Zulu Nation blood. The dude is soulful for real, dog.
To you, what you just said, like to something to kind of like as a testament. Did you happen to watch his Rhythm Roulette? Ninth Wonder's Rhythm Roulette?
Boy, look, I watched it about 20 times.
Okay.
How you flip that country sample? Oh my gosh.
Like I don't know how you did that to like make it sound soulful. If you would have never known he flipped a country sample, you thought it was like Isley Brothers or like Earth, Wind and Fire. But then he just flipped it and pitched the shift up. I was like, good Lord.
And that was, I mean, if you're producing, you listen to the show, if you listen to the podcast, I'm sure you know what Rhythm Roulette is. If you don't know what Rhythm Roulette, just go ahead and cut the podcast off because you tripping. For real. If you do not know what Mass Appeal Rhythm Roulette is, you need to just go ahead and pawn your equipment and get another life. But when you go into the Rhythm Roulette, you know what I'm saying, he going in blindfold. So he has no clue of what he's going to pick. You know what I'm saying? And when he flipped that Charlie McClain sample, bro, I was done, bro. I was done. I was done, dog.
I was screaming at my computer monitor like, good Lord, no, he didn't. Like,
yes,
I was
he did.
Tripping, man.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. So Jake is my 3. He's my 3rd.
All right, give me 1 sec, Mark.
All right.
All right, so you said 9th?
I said 9th.
All right, I'm going to go with I'm gonna have to go with the West Coast Master, Dr. Dre.
Okay.
Number 4.
Okay. All right. I guess if for the sake of just paying homage, you got to, but Dre is dope. I ain't tripping. I would never say that he's not dope. Go ahead. Why you say that?
I say Dr. Dre because, and it's kind of hard, like not to mention Dr. Dre or someone like a DJ Quick or a DJ Battle Cat. I mean, there's also these other dudes on the West Coast as well.
Now,
but Dre, man,
Battle is definitely one of my honorable mentions.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I have him as an honorable mention too.
Yeah,
Dr. Dre, man, just go through his catalog and you'll see why he's in anybody's top 5. You got Pac records, you got Nas records, you have Justin Bieber records, you got Kendrick Lamar. It's crazy, man. Not only what he contributed in terms of putting another thing on the picture of hip hop, But like he started the whole G-Funk kind of vibe and musical movement in that time in the 90s. And he forged a sound that can't be replicated, man. Like, all these guys did that. Like, that's one thing that makes you top 5. But Dre, man, you gotta go with him.
Yeah. I think you definitely got to go with Dre. He wasn't in my top 5, but I can definitely understand that. He is a producer that has changed history, musically. Now, okay, you said Dre. My fourth producer is somebody that Dre literally mimicked his sound and his soul, for sure. And this might be a little too old for you, but I got to go with George Clinton.
Oh, snap.
I got to go with George Clinton. For those that are listening, George Clinton was the producer and founder of Parliament Funkadelics, the band, the 70s band. So I got to go with George since you said Dre. Because Dre actually got his soul and his sound from George. So
True.
And I mean,
True.
you talking about there have been documentaries where people people in different documentaries have said that funk music is the DNA of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And if you're familiar with George's with Parliament, you would definitely see where that coexists together. Just a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned on the show a keyboard player, and actually he was a founding member of Parliament as well. Barney Worrell, he died cancer, 72 years
Rest
old.
in peace.
Yeah, he died last couple of weeks ago. But I was saying when I mentioned him in the producer news is that the synths and the presets that we play, like those gangster leads and them Lil Jon synths, Bernie was the inventor. He was the inventor of that sound. Like if he would have patented those sounds back in the 70s, like Bernie would have he'd be rich. He would be rich, son. You know what I'm saying?
You wouldn't have to play keyboard or nothing ever again.
Nothing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he definitely, if he'd have patented some of them settings that he did on the Moog, bro, he would be paid like a mug. So,
oh yeah,
with you going with Dre, I had to go with George because Dre got his sound from George. So.
Oh man, so to finish off at number 5,
yeah.
All right. I'm kind of in a mix of emotions because it's like I want to say someone from the mainstream side, but I also want to mention someone from the Christian hip hop side. Mm-hmm. But I think I'll mention those guys. Well, I'll mention those guys later. I have to go with DJ Premier as number 5.
Okay. So you're going with Premier. Okay, I got you. Why?
Yeah.
Why you say Premier?
I say Premier because, listen, the thing about Premier that I discovered later when I studied him and whatnot, he made a lot of records with the MPC 60, right?
Right.
And he only had a limited amount of sample time. I believe it's 30 seconds.
Right.
Can you make a classic joint?
Well, actually,
30 seconds of sample time?
Hold on. Was it 60 seconds or was it 12 seconds?
I have no idea, but the point is that he only had a little bit. And
right.
He made Nas Like, New York State of Mind. He produced for, what's that girl's name? Christina Aguilera.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's all in PC 60, I believe, even in that time.
Right.
So, and that's not only that, but he took what, other pioneers like Marley Marl and, maybe a Curtis Blow did and just made it his own. And then, like, when people think Premier, they automatically think about, New York. So that New York sound, that boom, boom, boom,
right,
like all that boom bap,
right,
he did that with the scratching and all. So,
right.
And to the testament of what he's done, like, people are still wanting Premier beats. You know what I'm saying? So, To finish off, which, man, this is hard. Like, I feel like I just disrespected a whole bunch of like producers, but to finish off, Premier, number 5.
Okay, so you going Premier as your 5?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, for my number 5, I'm going to have to go with Wes Pillington, a.k.a. Teddy P.
Mm-hmm.
I got to go with Wes. Wes was another producer that I admired greatly in Christian hip hop. You know what I'm saying? He almost remind you of Night Wonder. And
Yep.
the reason one thing I admired about Wes is when he first started out. Actually, I still bump his first mixtape. He put his first mixtape out literally at least it had been about almost 6-7 years ago, and I still bump that joint. Actually, one of the joints on this mixtape is like a beat that I use for when I'm meditating and just chilling, reading my word or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But my point of saying it all is Wes was using GarageBand and a Gemini CD player.
Wow.
That's all he was using, bro. He was sampling with the CD player, with the Gemini CDJ player, and using GarageBand. Now, had I never asked,
that's crazy.
Yeah, bro. Had I never asked him that in the interview, I would have had no clue whatsoever.
Man, and the thing about West Pendleton too, like, he kind of, I think every producer does this, or aspiring producer or beat maker. Like, you get ideas from, you know, what other people are doing and whatnot, and you just kind of like remix it as your own.
Right.
Like, we all do that. You'd be a liar if you say you didn't.
Right.
But the thing about West is, like, you can really kind of see, like, he invokes the vibes from like a Pete Rock or a Ninth Wonder. So, like, as you said, like, he reminds you of Ninth Wonder, of course, man. Like, he flips it into his own though. Like, the essence of Ninth is in there, but it's West.
Yeah.
Excuse
yeah.
me. So
yeah.
West Pendleton, man. Even like how he puts in the soulful with like some of the trap sounds.
Yes.
Like, I have one of his beat tapes that he does that with. I'm kind of like, man, this is funky.
Right. Yeah, man. And you know, and one thing about West, bro, he's like multi-talented. Like, he can sing. Like, a lot of the hooks that you hear on his beat tapes, he does them. You know what I'm saying? That's him. You know what I'm saying?
He had that Christian Grey joint.
Yeah.
He also does like photography and stuff like that. The website, the clothing.
And guess what? His instrument that he plays naturally is an organ. He's an organ player at his church. He's a B3
well, that
organ.
explains a lot.
Yeah, man. So you know, so I have to go with Wes as my 5th top 5, as my 5 top 5.
All right. So with that said, please forgive me, everybody.
All right, but
I feel like I disrespected a whole bunch of people, but anyway.
But you can do. Let's do your honorable mentions.
All right. So G Styles, aka Gavi, DJ Official, Wit, K Drama, Mac the Dulos, DJ Essence, Daniel Steele. The cats who were producing the Gospel Gangsters and Grits records.
Mm-hmm.
I have Marley Marr, RZA, Q-Tip, Pete Rock, Jake One, Battle Cat, DJ Quick, DJ Khalil. And I forgot to mention this, but when you were talking about George Clinton, I wanted to say Quincy Jones.
I had him down. I got him down too. He was one of my honorable mentions.
Yeah,
Quincy.
I also want to.
Yeah, go ahead.
I also want to mention this guy, Dwayne Triumph. I never heard drums like that in my life when he dropped the Mark of the Peace album. Woo! Those drums, man, those are crazy drums that he had on that album.
Wow.
But even still, with even those honorable mentions, man, I still feel like I'm missing a whole bunch of people.
Right. All right, so I guess if I'm going with my honorable mentions. I'm going to go with Andre Crouch. Actually,
I didn't know he produced.
Oh yeah, man. Yes, indeed. Actually, Pastor Andre Crouch should have been in my top 5 because I literally got every Andre Crouch song that he didn't put out for real.
Yeah. See, because the way I grew up, like, I didn't get to gospel until later. Like, I had the Hispanic gospel versions, I guess you say, or just
Right.
Spanish gospel music in that regard.
Right.
So when I heard about him, I was like, all right, let me check him out. And I forgot what album I got.
Yeah.
But it was dope. But I would have never known he produced that.
Oh yeah, man. Andre Crouch, man, he produced a lot of, produced all of his music. You know what I'm saying? He was, songwriter as well. But he's definitely he. I should have had him in my top 5. So
let me ask you: Did he produce the Mighty Wind album?
if it was this album, yeah, yeah.
Oh wow!
Yep.
Wow!
Yep. If that was, if it
Whoa,
was,
that's crazy.
yeah, yep. If it was his album, yeah, he did.
Wow.
Yeah, man. He was a
Crazy.
he was a dope producer, man. Great producer. I love
What a great song.
Andre Crouch, man. I love everything Andre Crouch did. So
That's correct.
so I have to go with my honorable mentions: Pastor Andre Crouch, High Tech, Kev Brown, Jake One, DJ Battlecat, Booney Mayfield, and my last one would have to be Todd Bangs.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You just mentioned the name that he's like an OG. Like,
yeah.
damn.
I'll have to go.
Ah.
I have to go with Todd. I have to go with Bang Theory. Yep.
Now I feel like I disrespected Todd. I didn't even know the dude, man.
Yeah, I have to go with Todd, bro.
Yeah, man. It kind of sucks that everything's digital now,
Yeah,
and like, there's not a whole lot of Christian like libraries here where I'm from. But when I bought the last Cross Movement CD, they put out the history record. I saw that he made the song "Get That," and I was like, what? So that's just crazy to know, like, because like, man, after that, like, I believe that he just wasn't producing for a bit and whatnot. I'm not so sure, but it's like, man, this guy was crazy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
man.
And he used
not only just that, but from people from before too. So
right, and he was an MPC user as well.
oh, okay.
Yeah, he used the MPC as well in a lot of his production. So that's my honorable mentions, bro. I know I'm missing. I know I'm missing a couple other dudes, but those are the ones that come up, right off the top of my head.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah.
So, and like you say, man, that's a conversation that can go on all the time, and you'll feel
spark debate too.
Right.
I mean, people get mad at you.
Oh yeah, yeah, boy, you start a fight.
How dare you put this dude in?
Right. Yeah, man. Dudes will fight you over these top 5s, bro. And and it's now, if it was top 10, you wouldn't feel as guilty, but it makes it real hard when you got to go with your 5.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, man. And for those that are listening to the show, man, feel free to leave on the chat your top 5. You know what I'm saying? Who is your top 5 producers? You know what I'm saying? Dudes that you look up to. It's all in fun. You know what I'm saying? Nothing to argue about or be trying to internet fight nobody.
yeah. Keyboard warriors, like, nah, this is just like off the dome,
right,
on hand.
right.
Like, this is what we got. So
right,
yeah.
So
but let us know, y'all, like, what you think or who are your top 5 in the comments below, on Facebook, Twitter, anywhere. Just let us know, like, hey, what you got for your top 5?
Yeah, and man, what we'll probably do, we might, we'll post it up and post an article on the site where, you'll be able to, post your top 5, you know what I'm saying, over at morphemobbeats.com, your top 5 producers, and then what happens, man, it allows everybody to get an opportunity to study, your favorite producers, you know what I'm saying? Well, like, you know, now I want to know why Pete was, when maybe a Preem was. Well, I know why, but somebody that's not familiar, that may be like, well, man, let me go see, you know, how was DJ Primo actually making these beats with only 30 seconds of sample time. You know what I'm saying? That's a history. Yeah. That's a history lesson. You know what I'm saying?
No, so for real, it is. And like, it's not to disrespect the old heads or nothing like that, but when it comes to music, especially nowadays, where you have this new generation of you know, youth or just people coming into hip hop and all that. Hip hop's not old, but because there's been so much music that's put out, like, you really get lost in the shuffle to know, like, okay, Premier did this, or K-Drama did this, or whomever, right? So it really is like a thing of discovery, man.
Yeah, it is, bro, and you do yourself some good to study, you know, these different musicians and stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's a beautiful thing I like about YouTube, because you can type in somebody's name and go find a documentary on them, you know what I'm saying? And you know, read about where they come from and how they started and stuff, man. And I like history, so it's nothing for me to, you know, to watch a hour documentary, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. So that's our top 5. What's your top 5? Let us know about it. Tell us. Hit us up on our social media. We're gonna post it up on the website, moreformorebeats.com. But yeah, man, that's our top 5. And I appreciate you coming on the show, dog. It's always good to have you on. Got to have you on more. What now? Actually, we can do it more since this time's works better for you now.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Again, Ma, appreciate you, man.
No doubt.
All is well, man.
No doubt.
Do it for Producerville, for the love of the Lord in that way, man. So we continue to, you know, put out this work. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Let's get
this
work.
Thanks for having me, man.
No doubt, man. And you've been listening to the ShowLab Producer Podcast, where we talk about nothing but producer stuff. You dig?
We are the plug for producers. The ShowLab Producer Podcast. You dig?
Yes, sir. You're listening to the ShowLab Producer Podcast, man. I am your boy, More for More Beats. Again, like to thank my homeboy, my sidekick, Omar Luis, for coming on the show. I think my top 5 list, my top 5 murdered his. I'm just saying. I think I had the better top 5, but anyway, it's not a lose-lose thing, man. It's just who you admire as a musician. So he gave you his top 5 and his honorable, and I gave you my top 5 and my honorable mention. So yeah, man, check that out. Go back and post it, man. You know, let us know what yours is. Challenge us to go check out why you like such and such. Before we get out of here, man, I'm gonna give you guys my producer thought on today. Man, let me say this before I do that. I will be posting the video footage from the showcase producer conference that we did during South by Southwest this past March. I am putting out the footage of our speakers. We had K-Drama was one of our speakers. My homeboy Cadence, he was one of our speakers, and my good friend Levester White, he was a speaker as well. And I will be posting in putting out the video footage, man. For those that wasn't able to make it, you can check out a lot of the information. Actually, I have the first part 1 of the K-dramas session up, and he was talking about the importance of time management, which is a good is got some good information on, you know, what we can do to better our time and use our time wisely and be good stewards of our time. So check that out. Share it, man. It's good information for all producers, you know, because we all got 24 hours in the day. It's up to us how we use it and how we balance it out. And for the most part, producers, we suck at when it comes to time, unless you discipline yourself to stay on a tight schedule. So check that out. Share it, spread it, all that good stuff. We're going to have more video footage coming up real soon. Actually, I got some video footage of the Beat Showcase too. So I'm going to be posting everything I got. All right. So my producer thought, and it's come actually looking at some of the video footage, looking at the footage from K-drama. I looked up this guy that he mentioned, Zig Ziglar. He mentioned him while he was speaking, and he said something that I thought was profound. He said, no, actually, Cadence mentioned this from Zig Ziglar, and it says, "You don't build a business, you build people. The people build builds the business." I'm gonna read it again. You don't build a business, you build people. Then the people build the business. And Cadence was talking about the importance of relationship building, and I was mentioning it. I was talking to a friend of mine about something similar to this last week. He was talking about just promoting and talking and stuff, and how to promote. He was asking me, well, how do I promote myself and stuff? And I mentioned to him, man, yeah, you definitely got to use the social media. Got to really make your presence there. But the word of mouth, the relationships that you build, the relationship that you build with people, is what's going to actually build up your what's the word I'm looking for? It's going to build up your business. You know what I'm saying? The relationships that you establish. You know what I'm saying? If you just look at this as you're an artist and I'm a producer, you buy this beat and we going on, so forth, expect it to be just that. But if you take the time to build a relationship with individuals, what they're going to do in return, they're going to turn you on to their friends, and so on and so forth. And now you're on your way to building a business. You know, I always like to say, I don't like to just call artists that I work with. I like to call dudes my friends. You know what I'm saying? I like to, oh, that's my homie. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm establishing a relationship that's going to be longevity versus an individual just coming to the site or hitting me up by email and saying, hey, I want to buy a beat. So the thought is, you don't build a business, you build people. Then the people build the business. And that's a quote from Zig Ziglar. And that's my producer thought for today. Now, I hope you enjoyed the show, man. I enjoyed sharing my top 5. Next week, I'm not even going to say what we're going to have next week, because I don't know next week. Everybody's busy. I got some interviews lined up, but everybody's busy. So I'm going to just wait and surprise y'all again. But I hope you guys enjoyed the show, us dialoguing and talking. Please spread the word. Let people know about the show, man. Leave us a comment. I say this every week. Leave us a comment. Let us know if you're enjoying it. Share it online. Tell all your producer friends, all your aspiring producers about the TheShowLab Producer Podcast, man. This is strictly for the producers, and this is this is the podcast was birthed out of the Showcase Producer Conference, which is the big event that we're looking and planning on doing again, the South by Southwest next year, Lord's willing, if it's God's will to do the conference next year. So keep that in prayer. We are submitting paperwork and submitting our proposal and synopsis to them guys this week. So keep that in prayer, man, that we can continue to do what we do, man, and that's to build producer community. Whew. So without no further ado, and I ain't got nothing else to say, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in. It's always a pleasure being with you guys, and I really enjoy doing this every Tuesday. So until next week, love you guys. Make some good music. Stay safe. Be prayerful. Draw closer to God, especially in this time that we're in. They just got so much stuff going on in the world, man. This is definitely a time where we need to be drawn closer to God the Father. If you don't know Jesus as your Lord and Savior, get to know him. You know what I'm saying? For the word, the Bible says Jesus said he's the way, the truth, and the light. No man can come to Father God except through him. You know what I'm saying? 17 years I've been a believer. I wouldn't change it for the world. So yeah, man, love you guys. Until next week, peace.
We are the plug for producers, the ShowLab Producer Podcast. You dig? You're listening to the ShowLab Producer Podcast, where we talk about nothing but producer stuff. You dig?
You are listening to the ShowLab Producer Podcast, the podcast that's strictly for producers.